Hey, my people, what's going on? It's Major TV. Let's talk. Let's talk about the recent situation that's been going on and been really getting a big buzz. The Kwame Brown situation with, I believe, No Smoke podcast, Steven Jackson and Matt Burns, and how they was calling guy a bust, a bum or what have you, because he was an NBA. He didn't have a star career. I believe he came out around the first round or what have you. How Charlamagne God jumped in, Jamila Hill, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless, Rob Parker, Chris Broussard. A bunch of people came out there and attacked the brother for going on a rant, right? And I don't really want to use the word rant, and that's an understatement. But that's kind of negative connotation, but he just told it how it was, right? Too many times, black people that work for white media tend to take on this position of thinking they're doing the right thing by calling it how it is, especially coming down to black athletes and entertainers. But what they do is they be completely biased and counterproductive doing it, because when we look at a lot of number one picks, that didn't do great, that didn't live up to expectation, especially 9 white players. You hardly ever hear their name, right? When it comes down to black players, it's nothing but bashing and talking negative. And we, as a people, lately have been talking black, especially Charlamagne the guys, Stephen A. Smith, Steven Jackson, Matt Burns, a lot of them, they talk black, right? But when you look at their presentation and what they talk about, when it comes down to certain black players, they will bash the black players, but don't say nothing about white players, like the white football player that almost killed his black fiancée. They don't talk about that like talk. They don't talk about the Robert Crafts who got caught in a rape allegation at a Asian spot in Miami. They don't talk about Ben Roethlisberger, the Pittsburgh Steelers, all the sexual assaults and rape charges he caught. The standard is so bad and so high for black people. It is just unbelievable. And when we think about the face of black people that's in media and how Kwame Brown is calling a lot of these people out, it's ironic that a lot of these guys that commentate, like the Stephen A. Smiths and them, never played sports on a professional level or at all. And Stephen A. Smith played high school ball, but they be calling guys all these different names and so critical. And when I heard Kwame Brown talking about how rigorous and hard it is training, overcoming injuries, his situation being around a lot of older guys and trying to acclimate with working with them and then working with him and them getting some kind of chemistry or what have you. It goes deep. But you have these 9 players commenting. And I've always, I watch sports, here and there, and I watch how people just criticize athletes, and I'm like, you probably didn't play football, baseball, basketball, you probably play none of these sports, but so critical. And these commentators just the same. It's sad to say a lot of it's because of ratings, clicks, views. And what's so sad is when you hear the Stephen A. Smiths of the world and Charlamagne God of the world speak about systemic racism and how everything is set up against a black person, and then watch how they tip black people down or have their chosen picks. That's not cool. And a lot of them are gatekeepers because what they are doing is they're making it hard or closing the door on a lot of brothers and only playing that buddy, letting certain people come in. But they're highly critical of black people. They're going to say, well, you know, when they come out on a black person, how it is, as opposed to a white, that's even why you shouldn't say nothing bad. That's why you should be on code, and that's why you should make sure that if it's not nothing positive, you're not going to say nothing negative. And if somebody else speak negative about any system, brother, you should speak up. The problem is, black people forget what's really going on. They get caught in individualism, this media sensation of having a name, having clout, having recognition, having a little influence, I guess a little power, a little money. And for good, it's not all about that. It sounds good saying in words about racism and systemic racism and all the social, political, economical injustice that black people get in with it, get a lot. But it's also important that we realize that we be mindful that we are representation of the black community. And I won't lie, I heard Charlamagne God say some very powerful things. I done heard Stephen A. Smith say some very positive things. But I also see these brothers take a very bad approach in addressing black people, individual black people, their struggles, their success, and then how they try to raise the bar higher for them, why they should work harder, and blah, blah, blah. I agree to a certain extent, but you still shouldn't not want to address the elephant in the room, which is racism. We know there's racism in sports, and it's been in sports for long, from boxing, football, basketball, baseball, soccer, what have you. They've always tried to make the white person look superior, right? And when a black person come along and dominate each sport, they try their best to make it hard for a black person. We know this. But it's not our job to be hard on a black person when they're going through something. But watch a lot of white players, a lot of leagues pull off the stuff, the coaching and all that, with all these white coaches and less black coaches, and blacks be dominating most of the sports. It's just sad that in 2021, you have an athlete, Kwame Brown, that come out and call him out for what it was. You know, and you know, he's gone hard, you know. And when he addressed the apology about Charlamagne the God, which is true, you should have a number on him and know how to call him. Not publicly do that without really talking to him first. It was for the people, and that was for him. It's to save skin, you know, in the game, to save his face and what have you. Because he's getting bashed all over social media and what have you. And it's just a situation where black people be thinking they know. Because Charlamagne God, Stephen A. Smith, they like to run their mouth. They like to run their mouth. A lot of black people like to do that. And they forget somebody listen. They get so relaxed and comfortable in their position, and they say some crazy stuff. And this brother, Kwame Brown, said he listened to Stephen A. Smith, other people, bashed his brother for years. Bashed him for years. But they didn't want to talk about all them white boys that came out the first round that was trash. I can call several of them, you know what I'm saying? That came out in the first round or in the early rounds, you know what I'm saying? The top 10 draft picks that was, we know, they didn't live up to the hype. We expect white people to show double standard. We expect the double standards to be in the play when it comes down to white people. For black people doing a white person's job is not cool. That's why Kevin Hart was called out for some of the things he was saying and doing, and how Mike Epps went on Ref Club called him a gatekeeper, and Charlamagne God playing stupid about what he meant by that. People be having favoritism. It don't always be about the people. And then they be trying to show a good face for white media, for the powers that be. I don't understand how people don't see that. White people don't care when you talk about racism and stem racism and injustice that happen to black people. They care when you put boots on the ground and you do something about it like Grandmaster J did. Too many times we get caught up into the hype of everything and not realizing it's only simple things we have to do. Live, be black, and do our part. And too many times we don't know how to do that because you know why? We get caught up in the spotlight. We get caught up in the fame. We get caught up into having money and power, seeing that we're doing better. Then a lot of us we really be competing against each other. We don't really be caring about white people. We be giving it to them. We know that, they running things and blah, blah. We don't never try to see if we can knock them off the throne. We never try to see if we can fight the system and really get something going. You know why? Because we don't want to get in trouble. We don't want to lose what we have. But it's really a sad situation that finally you have a basketball player that got tired of all the BS and spoke out against a lot of people that have been bashing him, black people. Most of them not even athletes, haven't played in the NBA, NFL, what have you, but very critical. That should be a no-no. Secondly, you have a lot of black people bashing black athletes, but hardly saying anything about the white athletes. Thirdly, a lot of them playing gatekeepers. They're showing favoritism and so forth and so on. And then now you have a bunch of them that's ganging up against that brother, like they do everybody else. They have the little buddy boy thing. They come up and they just attack. And guess what? The white media playing to that, because why? They working for the white media and they playing into the narrative. A black man is mad, a black angry man, and so forth and so on. He going around cussing and blah, blah. But I commend the brother for stepping up. I think it was needed. I think from the response on social media, YouTube, and what have you, they loving what he did. They feel like the Stephen A. Smiths of the world, Charlamagne God's the world, and many other people, you know what I'm saying, are really counterproductive towards the growth of black people, especially black athletes, who I'm quick to judge and pass judgment without saying too much about white athletes. And then they openly will say, well, you already knew how it is and blah, blah, blah. So that means you shouldn't say nothing about it. You should want to help not say nothing bad about a black person, especially when you know the system is built against them, and you know most of these black athletes come from poor neighborhoods, single parent homes, and tough. But they try to justify what I'm trying to help. They're telling you blah blah. No, you're not trying to help. Because the more you spew that negative stuff out there or say things that's not cool, you give these leads reasons why they shouldn't hire these black athletes. So look, this is major TV. Let's talk. I've been told to do a commentary on this, and I've been observing it closely. And it's really taken off with how black people have looked at a lot of black commentators that spoke in sports arenas and gave commentaries and all over on the media talking about sports, and show that they're more negative when it comes down to talking about black people that have either struggled in sport or didn't live up to the hype as far as what they call hype. Hey, like this audio, share it. If you're new, turn the notification button and subscribe. I drop content awfully. Y'all stay focused, stay cool. and just be black.
Praying to that white Jesus to take you out of slavery. I'm from New Orleans, baby. I seen a plantation. We want reparations. Want my 40 acres. I want some type of compensation for my people labor. And if you got your fist